Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to one and to all. Perhaps it is Saturday, depending upon where you are on the globe. I didn't even realize it was after midnight when I got up. I slept good and I just finished listening to a couple of lives and I decided let me go ahead and do my reaction on them. And I'm laughing on the outside as well on the inside. Now, those of you that are in here, you're going to have no idea what it is I'm talking about. And it's actually quite all right. I appreciate you all. I see lovely in here. I see my beautiful mind in here. And I don't know how to pronounce your name, so I'm just going to say Tej. But anyway, as you can see, the thumbnail is Who's Laughing Now? And this is a reaction to a couple of content creators in the sector, Supernova and Sizz. Or Sizz and Supernova, depending upon how you want to arrange the names. First and foremost, again, happy Friday, happy new day. Give yourselves a round of applause for making it to and through another day because as we know, not everyone will be able to say this. So, who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? I've said and I've been saying for a while, and those of you that have been following me, you know my challenges, and I've said maybe a couple of times now, and you probably can tell by seeing me more out and doing things. I'm living my life to the fullest because I already know my inevitable, and I do not have any regrets whatsoever. And I would suggest that you all have that mindset as well because you just don't know. In life, and there are some people that believe in karma. There are people who believe in a higher power. There are people who believe in what you put in the universe. It somehow finds its way back. I'm a believer in all of those. Not everyone subscribes to those ideals, but it's okay. I welcome all opinions. And oftentimes, in my opinion, dissent is healthy. Now, there, there has been so much that has gone on over the past. Let me get my fingers out because I'm not good at math. I'll repeat that. I'm not good at math, but when it comes to certain legal situations and investigative situations, I'm pretty darn good at that. And at one time, I wasn't in the position to do certain things because legally, morally, and ethically, you should not be using certain things. And you just shouldn't be using certain things unless you have the credentials and a reason to do that. Um, I'm in a different position now, so when it comes to me, and if anything ever comes my way, trust and believe I'm going to come. I'm going to come for you. I've said for the longest time, I have been holding things like water for years. And I do mean years about, let's see, probably about 3 now. And I've just, I've sat back and watched and listened, tried to stomach some of the narratives and lies that have been told for the longest time. And I'm not going to dislike an individual for supporting others. So that's just something I'm not going to do. I may not come around as much, and that's just protection for me. But don't think I don't listen and pay attention. Now, prior to my coming on, I did put the little dark video up, and it's not really dark, but that's just to say I am not a perfect person, and this particular sector is known for um, disagreements and not seeing eye to eye at times. And for the most part, I've been quiet. I've had my tete-a-tetes with a few, but for the most part, it's died down. It's died down for the most part. I am not going to say that I dislike anyone because I don't know anyone personally to say that. But I most definitely can and have said there are people on here whose behavior I don't like. And your behavior has been in the spotlight. And I must say, and you can call me petty, I don't really care at this point. I'm 56 years old. God willing, I may see 57. I don't care anymore. A person a long time ago that was dragged and doxed and talked about by both men and women. I don't care anymore. Some of you, as I said, I don't have to do anything. The more you allow people to talk, the more and more they tell on themselves. We have opportunists on here, and there's nothing wrong with trying to get your business, whether it is investing into YouTube full time and being very successful, because there are quite a few people who have done that. For those people, I applaud you sincerely. In contrast, you have others who ride the coattails, or they pretend just to get a role in a particular position. And I find it absolutely hilarious how the tables are beginning to turn. Well, it's been like that for quite some time. And as I said, I think it's going to continue. Now, I am not going to call anyone out, but I am going to use the monikers that people are known by. That's just how I roll, and I always have. Even though there are people that have called me out again, I don't care anymore. Let's talk about the lies and the protection. Now, there was, as I said, some paperwork that was displayed and read correctly and thoroughly without bias. And again, these are all my opinions. I'm not going to speak on that person. They have enough to deal with, and we haven't done anything personally to me, but the behavior is wrong. It's wrong. And Supa made a very important point. She was speaking about how these men prey on younger women, some of these men who only get with women because they have young daughters, whether they're approaching their teens or much younger. And she also mentioned that there are older women out here that deal with younger men. We've seen that. We've seen that much to Supa's her narrative. And she was right on point. There's a case right now that's going on that involves a 42-year-old. I believe it's going to be in October. And again, depending upon how I feel and how things look, I may try to travel out there to actually get some content on that. That's what I've been doing lately, going to a lot of courthouses and out here on the streets in DC. For those of you who don't know, there's a situation going on where the National Guard is here to police the Metropolitan Police Department. In other words, the police in DC are federalized under home rule, which is for right now 30 days, but who knows if that's going to change or not. That being said, Jarvis Butts is 42 years old and he is on trial for the disappearance, and they do believe that he unalived a 17-year-old named Nazia Harris, and I've spoken on that. But the sick part is the text messages, and you all can Google that case. She was targeted through someone he was dating. And that's what Supa was talking about. One of the things she was discussing is some women, they're not paying attention to some of these men that they meet and what their actual objectives and motives are when it comes to children. And there's just a lot of sick deviants out here. And the people who protect them, I agree with her wholeheartedly. You have to wonder deep down inside where your morals are. Same thing with some women. Now, there's a person who, and again, these are my opinions, who has placed themselves on a pedestal to be regal, like almost 60, but gallivanting around allegedly with someone 20 years their junior. To me, and that's my opinion, that's just disgusting and just as bad. Just as bad. I'm just going to have to call these individuals the fools of Fulton County. Get mad. I don't care. Come after me. I don't care. But make sure you have all your ducks in a row, because I don't know. And again, I'm just using monikers. I don't know how serious a leprechaun is about going to court against a certain individual, or if he's pump faking, who knows at this point. But if that actually does happen, Discovery is going to be a mother. And I hope and I pray that if this really does go forth, that every device, every thumbnail, every telephone purchased, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal is extrapolated and entered in, because the lies, even all of the lies, all of the transactions to help support lies will also be shown and proven. A lot of people can say things, but unless they have actual proof, it's really just speculation, unfortunately. The reason, in my opinion, that there was I'll just say, cover up or an effort allegedly to leave out certain things in this reading of paperwork is to, and again, some of you may have to excuse my language, but to hold on to KB's nuts as closely and as tight as possible. Why am I saying this? I'll tell you why. At one point in time, KB spoke a lot about running or the idea of running for a political office or politics. That individual wanted to be a part of that. Wanted to be a part of that. This individual, in my opinion, they don't really like a lot of you all that they shout out. They want to be you. I knew about the short-lived beef with Suge. Again, why did that happen? Out of that person's mouth. You know, I'm on Wami's side. Okay? Do what you want to do. But you've gone from creator to creator to creator to creator. And the bottom line is, you can't be trusted. There's someone out there now that it seems like to me is protecting you, or I don't know. This person is crafty, so they might be trying to put you in a trick bag, or they might really, really be trying to protect you. But if they knew that I had their paperwork via you, sitting right there in my inbox, I don't think those shout outs will continue. So you were looked at by many people as this big bad wolf, like pulling paperwork and trying to humiliate and embarrass people. To me, that's not really content. For some people, it is, but to me, it's not. But I'm just going to say it again: get angry. I don't care. You've been angry before. You don't even know what you're reading most of the time. Some of the terms you can't pronounce, and you got mad at me. And this is what is so funny, that I don't know if anyone has talked about it or not, because I didn't listen to the entire broadcast of Sizz. I heard bits and pieces from two people, but mostly from Supa. You had so much passion and joy when you were reading fax documents, and your dumbass forgot to redact information because you were so quick to get that out. When you want to present something, you should take your time and make sure that people are not vulnerable, because you have sick people out here that may try to contact the victims. And in my opinion, you didn't give a damn about those victims. It was about money, because remember, I was in that chat that day and I specifically said, I'm going to go ahead and get those transcripts. So you knew I was going to get them. And I read them, and you got angry about that. I made all these comments about I was making a fool out of myself because you could not explain to your audience what step meant. And there are a lot of people who already know that you don't tell the truth, and you make yourself and you prop yourself up to be something that you're really not. Now, at one point, I really did like you, and I tried my best, despite and in spite of everything that's happened. But you still stabbed me in my back, not just once, not just twice, but 3 times. 3 times. You got angry with me because I had an interview with Sizz. And as I told you then, that had been planned at least 4 months prior, before the two of you had your little back and forth. Again, why you got angry at me? Because I had an interview with Sizz, and I got into it years ago. But see, I can have my disagreements with people and still be able to coexist and not stab them in the back. You can't do that, or at least from my optics, you can't. Shortly thereafter, because I have the timeline, you tried to pit me against Mom Boss because of an interview that I had with JT, pocket watching with JT. We talked about a lot of things, but you turned things around. And when she showed the text messages, I said, okay, that's stab number 3. You have characteristics of a vindictive individual, not just towards women, but men as well. We've all seen the videos of you snitching. Sorry to say, but it's true. But there's something that has perplexed me for a while. And that's the video that the leprechaun showed. And again, I'm not being disrespectful, I'm just using monikers. Where you were heard to say, no, 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 no. Stay here, stay here. Keep your gack on you. When did that happen? Because if memory serves me correctly, you and I were on the telephone. If not that day, it was at least the day afterwards. And I'm going to have to find my old phone just in case I need it. But there was a discussion that the call came to, I'm just going to say your area. I'm not going to put it out on the airwaves. But you thought the person who did that was Temple Gang. Remember that? Remember that? Yeah. Another thing. We were watching a live together of someone who, again, I don't know why they protect you, but they were about to make a call to Dimple Gang's, I'll just say jurisdiction. And you said, under your breath, no, don't do that, don't do that. You can't do that in that state. It's against the law. Your words to me, and I quote, "Let me call you right back. That's my wife on the other line." Within 30 seconds, that individual who was about to make a call said, "My lawyer just called and said that I can't I can't do this. Um, it's against the law in this particular jurisdiction." Your wife didn't call you. That was you calling, warning that person. And you tried to beat me down verbally to try to convince me that I didn't know that I was what I was talking about, that I was an idiot. One thing I don't believe in is coincidence. That was no coincidence. That was no coincidence. Your wife didn't call you. And again, I hope and pray if the leprechaun does go through with this court situation, that all records are shown. Because that phone call that day, as I said, everything is in my old phone. It'll give the date and the time. Now, that video has long since gone away, but the date and time hasn't gone away. You have started a lot of shit with people, and how apropos is it that the reading with so much passion, as I said, was done with facts just about a year ago? Yeah, I think it was around August 9th. August 9th. Yep. And here it is, August of this year, just a little over a year, and the chickens, bok, 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 have come back to roost. And your lies, and you told many a lie. It's come back to bite you on your black ass, and I could not be happier. You're a liar, and you mean nobody any good. And I watched and observed quite a few things. Quite a few things. Again, the projection is unreal. So we have the gap-toothed liar and then a snaggle-tooth liar running around. So gap-tooth, let me address you real quick. You're running around dumping money on all these men. Checks. And again, could be plays. I don't know. I don't care. It's yours. You do what you want to do with them. But what are you really contributing? Running down. What's up, Roll? Running around to schools. Did you run around to schools when you were supporting facts? Did you uplift and stand up strong and tall when you knew how facts was acting on this application? You knew the things that were being said and done. You knew there were some mental issues going on, but did you try to seek help for that individual? Now, I'm not blaming you for what the end result was, but I would think as a registered nurse, a retired Army veteran, and all these things that you have in your resume, that you could have taking time out to do the same thing that you did when it comes to, I'll just say, Bitcoin. Mm-mm. See, I think, and I could be wrong, I have before, that both you and Snagglepuss have been riding the fence. And if you could get back, or at least, no, I'm going to say, if you could get back, because even though that channel, that big channel, seems like it's on its last leg, I just have a feeling that things are going to turn around. Don't ask me why. Again, I could be wrong. But if you had had the opportunity to really be back in that camp, you wouldn't be underneath the nuts of somebody else. That's my opinion. Weren't you the same one that said that you were in witness protection? Yeah, you were. I have all of that. Did you escape? Did the protectors quit? What happened? For all this hemming and hawing that you do, you're still a loser when it comes to court. And the only reason why, and I'll just say, the woman in the garden faced what she did, is because she made an error. So you only won that by default. You won that by default. But your karma is coming too. Your karma is coming too. One thing I cannot stand is a liar, one who just blatantly lies and tries to prop themselves up as being something that they're not. And in my eyes, both of you, you're fucked up. You're fucked up. People have proven it and shown it over and over again. And every channel you seem to plop your fat ass to, something happens. And I don't understand why people welcome you. If they've done it to others, what makes you think you're so special that it won't happen to you too? All of the troll names. All of the troll names. You have two people with the same type of characteristics playing police games. I'm going down and finding out about this school drive. But have you done anything? Have you done anything to help your community? What have you really done? All that money that you're throwing out on memberships, again, do what you want to do. But if you're really this pillar of your community, what have you shown that would have someone to believe that? Cursing like a sailor. No regal individual behaves in that way. I haven't seen any filth that you've displayed. And you have the nerve to talk about other people. Oh, you are happy. You are happy like a pig in slop when you and the woman from the garden was at the restaurant and you tried to shove it down people's throats. No pun intended. And where are you now? And that's another thing. This Again, it could be a play. Now, I hope it isn't, because if you're involving government agencies over something frivolous, you know you shouldn't be doing that. Bringing in the EEOC for what? For someone to allow you that much control over their channel, you've had to have conversations. So I will never, ever believe that you didn't have intimate conversations. And when I say intimate, I don't mean pillow talk. I'm talking about conversations where just certain things may have been discussed. Now all of a sudden, you find yourself on the outside looking like a sad pound puppy, looking in, hoping to be back in my opinion. All these negative things. You were all for it. You were all for it. Like I said, I'm not perfect. Never said I was. I've said things, absolutely, and will continue to say things when I see fit. But the lies, as I said, your names are on the marquee. But hey, isn't that what you wanted? Mama, I made it. Well, you made it. And how are you going to get out of it this time? How are you going to get out of it? I hope you get what you deserve. And I mean that 110%. You flip flop on so many people. You did it to Johnny Blaze. Or, what was he called? Johnny Glaze. When most people know that Vax was really in your camp more than most. Yeah, you're shouting out people again. Maybe they know, maybe they don't. Maybe they just don't care. I'm going to go with the latter. They don't know how ruthless you really are. And one thing you did tell the truth about was having files on people. But I wonder if they know the probability of you having files on them, or just as much as other people that you've done things to. Lies and the manipulation. And see, the funny thing is, they say birds of a feather flock together. I believe some of that is true, but not with everyone. But the way you raised your voice to me said a lot. It said a lot. The way that you cussed women out and disrespected women says a lot. Do you do that off of YouTube? Is that why a certain individual tolerates you? Because honestly, a woman at a certain stature dealing with someone like you, it just leaves a lot of questions in my head. Leaves a lot of questions in my head. Who knows what's really going on down there in Fulton? Because both of you are in close proximity. And those of us that have been paying attention to Fulton County, we all know that it's fucked up. And the DA there is fucked up and a liar. And got caught with her pants down, so to speak. But again, that's somebody's shero. You got the nerve to talk about other people. You should probably really look deep in the mirror because you can only lie but so long. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've never told a tale. I can't do that. That would be disingenuous. But I don't blatantly lie, nor have I on anyone. What purpose would that serve for me? None. A lot of these things that some of you all are talking about, I'm just going to have to say it's old news because I've known for years when people came after me. Again, I just sit back and laugh, and I'm laughing now. That's why I'm up after I heard that premium roast from Supa and Sizz as well. Now, if you're not from a jurisdiction, you're not going to understand certain things, but at least they can say that. But no, not you. Not you, King of Receipts. I'm surprised you don't work in the DA's office. You've got quite an impressive resume, too, don't you? Don't you? $50-some years old and on the internet, acting like a fool. But karma has finally entered your home. And I have to give him or her a round of applause because this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. As I said, you're not a friend to anyone. You just are trying to get in where you think you fit in, and you don't. You don't. Remember the quick trip? You were made a fool out of. And no matter what you say about Leprechaun at least opened his mouth and said something back. You said nothing. You just motioned your hand, tight mouth, walked away. That's what you're going to be remembered for. And snitching. And you put KB's name in that too. So my question is, and it's always been, have you been part of the colloquial duo twist? Because if that person, social media wise, goes down, where are you going to go then? Another thing, there are people that believe that, I'll just say, Curly Shoes allegedly was the only one that may have been promised a piece of a $13 million pie. No. No, no, you may want to add someone else. See, some of you need to go back and listen to certain things. I've always been one to believe that, and people have said this before, when the voice gets high, normally it's because there's a lie. It wouldn't be so bad if over 50% of the sector hasn't called you out on the BS and the lies. And I mean, they've been outrageous lies. Outrageous. I had to laugh at the one that had me involved. I mean, it was silly, but you had people to believe that you turned me down back in 1995. And I'm not being conceited or on a high horse or anything like that, but look at you and look at me, even at my age. I would never. I just, I would never. So for the people who believe that, shame on you. Shame on you. But the lies that you told on other people, the problems that you try to start with other people, making fun of people who have lost their siblings and family members in a violent way. If you believe in the Creator, some people do, some people don't. I would seriously consider repenting for that because there's nothing funny about that, and that goes for anybody. There has been some bad things that have happened to people that have spoken badly upon me. Now, I can't help my health condition. I didn't do anything for these things to come on. They just did at a very young age. This latest is just a manifestation of it. And I had to go through hearing horrible things. And that's another thing. You lied and said that you donated to that fundraiser. No, you didn't. Oh, me and my wife donated to it. No, you didn't. You're not married, allegedly. So we can stop that too. Every lie that you put out there is being shot down like a skeet shooter. Bow, 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 bow. And Sizz lit your ass up. So are you going to talk about him again? You going to talk about him again? Say you haven't. That's in my inbox too. I tried to, actually, I did. I introduced you to another sector that I'm in often. And instead of keeping it on this cyberbullying, you brought up old gap mouth, tumbleweed. And now the two of you, supposedly, unless it's a play, at each other's necks. Well, That's not actually accurate because she doesn't have one. But you're at one another. So what's the purpose of that? I had to take that down. See, a lot of places that I go, these people are intelligent, extremely intelligent, excellent content, and the presentation, top notch. And they do it themselves. They don't pay other people to do things for them. And there's nothing wrong with people do that. Nothing at all, but don't pretend like you're this and you're that when truly you're not. You've been riding on coattails for the longest time and diminishing or attempting to diminish other people as you go. You've been exposed for so many things on here, but yet and still you have people, especially women, that eat that stuff up. Maybe that's the type of entertainment they enjoy. Again, have at it. But just know karma is finally coming back. And everything that you tried to gloss over and cover up, I didn't have to do it. And I said that a long time ago. But see, people won't listen much because I don't beef, so to speak. Every now and again, I may say something, but I do recall I wouldn't have to lift a finger. Other people would do it for me. And now, finally, it's coming out. Putting that jacket on Leprechaun, in my opinion, that wasn't a play. I think, unfortunately, you bit the bait that was laid for someone else. If that was actually bait that was left for somebody. Again, I don't know. And that's no slight to anybody, but the point is, unless you know factually that somebody is deserving for a title like that or a jacket like that, you should never say that. Again, you don't know who's watching them, if they're working on a brand. And to have that type of jacket on you is dangerous out here on the streets. Let me bring something else to your attention, and this is for anybody because I've heard Curly Shoes say, um, I can retract. Newspapers do it all the time. Yeah, you can do that, but that doesn't absolve you 100%. It doesn't absolve you because, as someone says, I'm a mandated reporter. Again, justification for your bullshit. You should have fact checked and known for yourself. See, it's the very ones, and this is the rich part, it's the very ones that you may think have your back. That might be, and I'm not saying nor implying that they are, that could be using you as a crash dummy. And you've been crashing. You've been crashed so much. You should never be given a license again. When they see you coming, they should already have the revoke sign out. Simple as that. The fact that you protect what you claimed that you were trying to protect tried to protect women, when you've talked about women, when you've doxed women, when you've made up horrible lies, when certain things came to people's doors, other people came after them. Did you honestly think in that pointy head of yours that you would just go through life with no retribution for all the shit that you've done? You've gone to, I'll just say, Bug Eyes chat. Not so much because you supported him, because you talked about him and his very, 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 very fair-skinned mod. I'll just say, looks like a Barbie doll. You remember that? I do. But see, that was, in my opinion, the plan all along, to look like the big man on campus, to be involved in the cool kids club. Because your chat ended up being a mixture of, I'll just say, Bug Eyes chats and KB's chats and the same mods. You really didn't get much on your own. A few people, but look who's in your camp. I had to turn down an interview with someone that used to be in your camp, and I was looking at him sideways, but he left too. Very nice, nice gentleman. We had my panel and we had a really, really good conversation. But I had to decline that because of his association with you. And that's very sad. Like I said, I've tried to like you. We had good conversations and tossed around good ideas. But the fact, even with that, that you decided that you wanted to stab me in my back 3 times, 3 times, because I had conversations with your aunts that had nothing to do with me. And quite honestly, I didn't even know. But still, that's something that you should have took up with that person, not with me. When somebody had a, and they say it was a play, whether it was or not, I don't know. But let's just say that person either was hit and they fell out the chair or fell out the chair or whatever. I didn't know anything about that until you called me on the phone when a video was made about me from a female. I don't know where that came from, but you were on the phone calling me, letting me know about it. So if you have all of these business ventures, how in the hell do you have time to be in all of these places knowing everything that's going on? I can multitask, but damn, I can't do all that. So what is it? Eventually, you're gonna have to come clean, either on your own accord or by force. And if this, like I said, could be pump faking. Sorry, pill pump. What is it? Pill popping pump? How to use your catchphrase. Unless the leprechaun is pump faking, as Sweet Daddy said, in good times. Boy, you in trouble. Don't think people don't have files on you. And shame on the people that have called and shouted you out because they truly don't know. And you don't even have to believe me, the people that are listening. But ask yourself, you really see me in any mess? And for those of you who know what I do, again, why? Why would I lie? I am not going to jeopardize my integrity, not on this app or any place else at all. I may not, in all seriousness, see the end result, but knowing Supa and Sizz has lit your ass up. If I end this live and take my last breath, you see that smiling face right there? That's how I'll be. Smiling, knowing that the piece of shit you and that gap tooth no neck tumbleweed has been exposed for the messy individuals that you are. In my opinion, you bring no value. If anything, you've hurt platforms because now, in my opinion, people are going to start to look at other people who applaud and see nothing wrong. And you're going to have people that will turn a blind eye. Unfortunately, that's just how sick society is. They can see something that's done that is wrong, that's against the law, morally inept. They'll turn an eye, a blind eye, just to be a part of a group. And that says a lot about you, in my opinion, that you don't feel as though you are enough, that you're good enough, or you can stand alone without co-signing of a celebrity or non-celebrity or someone with clout in the sector. People have tried to talk to you and ask you to stop doing some of the things that you were doing. I've asked you to stop doing some of the things that and you promised, well, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. So back in August, when you were in your blaze of glory, reading out the transcripts of facts who used to be in your camp for a long time, and you said I was making a fool out of myself. And I really wasn't. It was the other way around. I just brought attention to the fact that you didn't know what step meant. You don't know what a lot of things mean. You just pull out paperwork and just start reading. And you had some people question me. Not even a whole year later. Look how the pendulum has swung. Again, bow, bow, bow. And I find it absolutely hilarious. And something tells me my spidey senses are tingling. You've heard that word before, haven't you? It's tingling, it's tingling. That more and more people are going to start saying certain things. One thing about it, not everybody is lying. Mm-mm. Nope. Not everybody is lying. I'm definitely not. Again, if you believe in a higher power, it would probably be a very, very good idea to repent for your wrongdoing, because things have a way of catching up to you. I'll just say this really quickly. I had a situation I was dealing with, and it looked like I was on the ropes for a little while because, as they say, money talks, BS walks. But there's always a higher power there. And my own intellect, where I came back with a rope-a-dope and walked out like George Jefferson. hmm One thing I don't like, and I want this to be very clear, very, very clear, because as I said, I'm not the one that was dragged a few years ago. No, I don't like for my livelihood to be played with. Every agency with whom I have reach is on this individual's butt. Once they get one sigh of relief, I'll send another and another. In other words, don't play with me. It would not be a good idea at all. Because as I said, I'm in a position now where I can actually do that. And I have. Just be honest. Be your own authentic self. You don't have to make up egregious lies to be accepted. You don't. Unfortunately, you will have to, in some form, pay for the lies that you tell and that you told that have hurt people. And again, my hands are not clean. Never said they were, so I want to make that clear. But I'm not running around here doing half of the things a couple of you have been doing for some time now, making it seem like you have so much pull. If you did, certain people wouldn't be in certain situations that they're in. As Cat Williams said, don't you know we can see you? Not everybody is easily fooled. Not everybody. A lot of people, but not everybody. You use people. And as I've said, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. So I'm going to end this. I believe it was Self Awareness TV. It is so refreshing that there are some people out there cleaning up these YouTube streets from the vermin and the snakes that are still slithering around. This wasn't intended to upset anyone, it's just to bring awareness. And again, my reaction to Supa and Sizz. And I must say, they did an excellent job on breaking certain things down and begging the question why certain things were omitted. I think many people understand the reason why, but if you truly want that respect of being a stand up person, answer the questions that people may have as to why you did, and then make it right. Because quite honestly, it doesn't look good. And while many people may not still say anything, going to be looking at you a different way. And then people who follow you, especially the ones who say nothing, especially the ones who actually are against certain things. And remember, Jarvis Butts, 42 years old, and the Nazia Harris case. Very, very, very sad case. I don't believe they found her yet. This 42-year-old man impregnated her. One of the text messages, babe, I need that day after pill. Why would a 17-year-old even have to say something like that? And then she ends up missing. And it just came out recently that he had 2 other cases dealing with underage women. They're older now. So ladies, pay attention to these new men that come in your lives, especially if you have daughters, young daughters, or sons. These days and times, it doesn't even matter. Same thing with these younger men. Watch out for these old tumbleweeds out here. You don't really know what some of their motives may be, especially ones who are known to lie. You know the type, the Teletubbies of the world. If they've done it to one, history shows more than likely they'll do it to another. Thank you to those that tuned in and those who will catch the replay. Honesty is the best policy. And no, not everyone is 100% honest, myself included. But some of these lies really gonna hurt a lot of people. So you may want to just stop. Stop, drop, and roll. Good night.